So Ambassador Jacob Lew, thank you so much for being with us. I'll start in the obvious place. The video put out by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and obviously the reaction in Washington. Is that incident behind us?
Well, first, I want to be clear that the U.S. has, since October 7th, been providing an unprecedented amount of military support for Israel at a pace that is, just been very rapid. And I think, as is well known, there was one shipment of large diameter munitions that was put on hold, and there's been conversations going on about the conditions under which they would be delivered. Apart from that, everything that is in the process is in the normal process. I
would imagine that the Biden administration was surprised to see a video like that.
Yeah.
Beyond the issue of the shipment itself, the psychology surrounding it. Do you trust Benjamin Netanyahu?
So I can speak to the facts. I'm not going to try to analyze why the video was released. The fact that really is important is that one shipment was put on hold and everything else continues to go. There is a challenge in keeping up the pace at which the U.S. has delivered munitions, just because we're no longer at the beginning of the process. We're deep into it. And we'll have to work together on a technical level to make sure that we continue to provide things as they're needed. I don't think it was constructive to have this be a public conversation. Look, I think the relationship between the United States and Israel is deep and long, and it has never produced more strength and better results than under the current president. There's nothing that I see that changes the commitment that the president has and the United States has to supporting Israel and helping Israel defend itself. We've had serious questions through the war about different issues, and they've been very public, and we've discussed them. And I actually think it has been constructive, the way we've engaged. We've engaged the way friends engage, to make sure that the contours of how the war is being fought meet our common values, and the way things like humanitarian assistance are provided meet our common values. And we haven't been shy about raising those issues. And I think that it's actually been beneficial in terms of the way things have gone.
The relationship with Benjamin Netanyahu personally, would you characterize it as a trusting relationship?
Yeah, I'm really not going to get into the kind of questions of personality, and the release of the video triggered a reaction that speaks for itself. I think that the question of where we go from here is, how do you maintain the relationship, as I'm confident we will, so that we continue to provide the support that Israel needs, and we have the conversations where we agree and where we have differences, and I'm confident that we're going to continue to be able to do that.
Move on to the situation in the north. Amos Hochstein, the envoy for getting to an agreement between Israel and the forces on the other side of the border. What is he offering to Hezbollah and or to the Lebanese government to make an agreement happen? What are the tools at his disposal, and what is he offering them?
So Amos Hochstein has been back and forth between Lebanon and Israel many times, even in the 7 months that I've been here. And I think that over the course of the time I've been here, I've seen how attitudes in Israel have changed in a constructive way. If you had asked me in November, I thought that the skepticism was, just short of it's impossible. Now, a diplomatic solution is most everyone's preferred option. The question is, can you get there? My analysis of where we are right now is that if there were the ability to have closed the deal on the hostages and a ceasefire along with the release of hostages, we were in a place where I was optimistic that there was a diplomatic resolution, and I can explain why. I think with Hamas's rejection, in the face of really most of the world saying it's time for Hamas to take the deal, we're now in a place where that's more challenging. And Lebanon will have to, and Hezbollah will have to make decisions. You ask what's in it for them. If they want to avoid a war, and if Israel wants to avoid a war, figuring out a diplomatic resolution is the way to avoid a war. That's something that both sides have an interest in. And there is certainly the possibility of that working out in terms of kind of both the facts on the ground and the ability to have oversight of that.
There's an issue of sequencing, right? Because the administration is arguing we can get a deal in Lebanon, but only if Hamas first says yes to a ceasefire. We can get to normalization with Saudi Arabia, but for most of the last 6 months, the administration said, only if we get to a ceasefire in Gaza. Aren't you giving Hamas, and for all intents and purposes, Iran, veto power over the situation on the Israel-Lebanese border and veto power over the normalization?
No, I don't think that's a fair way at all to characterize. I mean, we've been engaged 24/7 in how do you get the hostages home? How do you get the living hostages back to their family? How do you repatriate those who've been lost? The only ones who can do that, who can release them, are Hamas. So you have no alternative but to negotiate with them indirectly, but it's not us giving them veto power. That's the cruel power of taking hostages. And that is the reality. We believe that we should stay on the course of pressing for that to happen because we want to save the lives of those hostages. It's not a question of are you giving Iran or someone else power.
Oh, of course the ceasefire and hostages has value in its own right. My question is this. Are you moving forward, and do you see a path forward for an agreement in the north between Israel and the forces on either side of the border without that ceasefire in the event that Hamas continues to say no, and also for Saudi normalization? Is the Biden administration trying for Saudi normalization independent of the ceasefire, not necessarily waiting for the ceasefire, but potentially being able to get there?
I think the answer to your question is not a simple yes or no. We have never said that we think the conversation with Hezbollah was intrinsically tied to that. It's a question of is Hezbollah prepared to enter into a conversation? And certainly our view is a diplomatic solution in the north is the right outcome. On Saudi Arabia, it's a slightly different question. There are things that U.S. and Saudi Arabia could do, with or without normalization. I think the likelihood of that providing real satisfaction is not that great for a host of reasons. If the goal is Saudi normalization with Israel, then again, the question is, what is Saudi Arabia prepared to do? There's two pieces. One is there's going to have to be some degree of quiet in Gaza. Whether that is the ceasefire and hostage deal or some other winding down of active hostilities, that can be explored. And the other is some recognition that there has to be engagement in a process that ultimately leads to Palestinian self-governance.
Ambassador, if there are any other messages you would like to get out to the American public, to the Israeli public?
I would go back to where you started. I mean, I think, as we are in the, 8th month of this war, I think you have to step back and look at the rock-solid support the United States has provided to Israel to defend itself against the worst attack it has ever faced. And I think that is kind of the gold standard in terms of friendship and support. And I think those who raise questions about the commitment behind it are missing the story. It's done because it's in the interest of the United States. It's something the President of the United States, in his heart and his mind, believe in. And it's given Israel the ability to defend itself. I think the kind of flash of the day can distract from what is really a powerful and important moment in terms of U.S.-Israel relations and the support the U.S. has provided for the State of Israel.
Ambassador Lew, thank you very much.